Right, so far we know how to use React, how to create an application, and now we know how to work with forms, and we will include forms into the NBA project. But we've been working with the JSON server, which is a fake database, and that's what it is. We can use JSON server for developing or testing, but it does not work on the real world. We cannot use it for real life. So now Firebase comes into play. So Firebase is a service in the cloud that gives us a lot of tools. We can use databases, cloud databases, and we can even use authentication. So that's what we're gonna be doing now. We're gonna discover Firebase and learn how to use it. So okay, that's good. So we will add Firebase to the NBA project as well. Now we know forms, so we're gonna connect the NBA project, but we're gonna be doing this later. First, we need to know how to start with database. With the Firebase. So the first step is going to be entering and creating a Firebase account and everything else. If you have Gmail, if you have a Google account, you already have access to Firebase because Firebase is Google. Okay, so I'm gonna just go right here. I'm gonna open a new tab and I'm gonna say Firebase, just like that, just Firebase, and not match value. What is that? Firebase. And then, just Firebase. So we're going to go right here, Firebase and Google. And, it's going to give us some information. I'm going to be changing accounts. This is my Spanish account. So I'm going to change it to English. Well, I should be getting English, but that's fine. So let me change this to English. There we go. Firebase helps you build a better mobile app and grow your business. So this is what it is, it's just a cloud service that we can connect our application to this service and make it work. Now, I am assuming that you already have an account, a Google account, so you need to log in. That's the only thing that you need to do. And then after you do that, we need to go to console. So go to console. Okay, so it's gonna load, and then it's gonna give us kind of a new panel. I have a few projects right here. So what we need to do right now, we're going to create a new project so we can connect this project. We're going to be using the forms project we've been using, so we don't have to download a new template and do npm install and everything else. If you don't have this version of the forms, with the control and the user with the validation, you can I've added this as a resource so you can download, do npm install, and you can follow the video up to this point. Good. So I'm going to create a add project. It's going to give us this. It's going to say, okay, add a project. You need to type a name. I'm going to call it my project. I'm going to call forms and then test. Oh, forms test. Kind of makes sense. Right here, after you create the name, it's going to give you a project ID. Of course, you can change the project ID, and if it's available, you can use it. You need to select the country or the region. For now, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be using United States, but could be whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm going to say create project, and it's going to start everything. It's going to take a while. All right, almost done. So, well, it's kind of taking a while. All right, there we go. Once it's done, it's going to give you this dashboard, and this is the dashboard of your application. If you click here, right here, you can switch projects, but you're going to be using this one. So, okay, so once everything is ready, we will need to use the develop option. Maybe for use closed, you just click it and it's going to give you a bunch of options. We're going to be using authentication and database, but you can use, you have other features like hosting or storage, to store images and whatever, and you have a few more. We're going to be using authentication and database for now. So the first thing that we need to know is how to use the database. We're going to do authentication later. How to create a database and connect Firebase to our application and store data. So let's go to database. It's going to go right here. And okay, just like any other NoSQL, you should specify your app and access the information. So I'm going to click here, get started. This one is free. It's going to give you a link right here at the top, and at the beginning you can have this name, and this is the name of your database. Right now we don't have anything inside, but we're going to be adding things. Now the first thing is that we need to change some rules. Whenever the project starts, no one, unless they are authenticated, they can add data or get data from your database. So I'm going to go right here up to inside rules. We have rules right here. It's going to give you rules and read and write. And you're going to have auth equals, not null. So we're going to be changing that. I'm going to just delete all of this, and I'm going to say true, and the same thing for this one, just true. So changing this, pretty much what we are doing, it's saying that anyone that has access to our project can read and can write. We can post data. In the real life, this is not a good idea because anyone is going to be able to add things into your database. But for now, since we are just testing and we are learning, we're going to leave it like this, and then of course we're going to change it. Now, once you change this, you need to click on publish. And then, of course, it's going to give your security rules are defined as public. Anyone can read or write. Are you sure? Yeah, we are sure. So once you're done, that's it. There's nothing else. I'm going to say dismiss, and I'm going to go back to data. Okay. So right now, we need to know how to include this project. We have a database, everything is ready, we can read and write, but we need to connect Firebase to our forms project. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go to project overview right here, and you're going to have a bunch of options, and it's going to say add Firebase to your iOS, your Android, and your web app. We are just doing a web app right now, so I'm going to click on this one. It's going to load something, and then it's going to give you some configuration, and all of this is going to be what we're going to be using to connect the Firebase to our project. Now we can do it this way. Notice that it's saying right here that we need to add a script, but we are not going to do it this way. We're going to download and install a dependency, the Firebase dependency in our React project, and then we are going to connect with that one. So I'm going to go to the terminal. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to say clear, and notice that I am inside that directory. Okay, so you need to do the same thing. You need to go to the directory where you have the forms project, and I'm going to be installing the Firebase dependency. Is npm install, and then of course Firebase, just like that. And I'm going to be using the latest version. I believe it's 4.8.0, and then minus, and then save. I'm going to press enter. It's going to take a few seconds. All right, I'm going to pause the video and be right back. Okay, so everything is installed. I'm sorry for that. Now it's Sunday. Today's Sunday. So everyone is at home and using the connection. So now the connection is a little bit slow for my taste, but that's good. Okay, so everything is installed. I'm going to do clear, and then I'm going to do npm start, of course. I'm going to start the project again. And okay, now the dependency is installed. So now we're going to be using this. I'm going to go to source, and inside source, I'm going to create a new file that is going to be called Firebase, something that makes sense, Firebase, firebase.js. So now to connect, first we need to import that dependency. So it's going to look a little bit weird. We're going to say import, just like that, import, and then we're going to use this asterisk. So this symbol means all. This is equal to all. And then we're going to say as Firebase, and then from, and then Firebase, just like that. So this it's pretty much saying bring everything that we have inside this dependency, store it inside a variable called Firebase. So now we're going to be using Firebase and whatever method and whatever tool we have inside Firebase, and we're going to be using this keyword. So it's bringing all, saving it into a variable called Firebase from Firebase. That's what we are doing. This is plain ES6, not React. Okay, so I'm going to go right here at the bottom. I'm going to go back to the forms, the test, which is the project, right here, the Firebase project. I'm going to copy the bar and then the config. I'm going to paste it right here at the top, And instead of a bar, I'm going to change it to const, just like that. Okay, that's good. So this is the first step, just getting all this information. Now, how do we connect it? Real simple. Since we have the Firebase dependency right here at the top, we're going to say Firebase, I'm going to use that keyword, and then dot, and we're going to use initialize app. And then we need to pass the configuration, which is all of this. Since we have it inside of Laravel, I'm going to say config. And then that's it. This is the only thing that we need to do. Now, the thing is that how do we know that we are connected, Okay, so I'm going to go right here at the bottom. And first, I'm going to say Firebase. I'm going to mention that Laravel we are importing on the top. And then I'm going to say dot, and I'm going to use the first keyword. It's going to be database, and open and close is a method. Then I'm going to do ref, and don't worry, we're going to be talking about ref. And then we use the word set. And I'm going to set something. I'm going to say it works. Just something like that, So it's a simple text. Now, this file, we are not really using this file inside of our project. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to index, and I'm going to say import. And then, of course, we're going to be importing that file, that Firebase file. So once the application starts, it's going to load this Firebase file, and it's going to be running this statement. So I'm going to go back to index. I'm going to save it. And, the application should be restarting. And I'm going to close this. I'm going to go back to Firebase, and I'm going to go back to database. And it's going to take a second. And if we check, we have it works. So this is connecting, and it's storing something into the database. So, we can save things just like this. We're going to be, of course, talking about how to do more. But for now, if you get it works, it means that it's connecting. So everything's cool. Now, the next thing for us is going to be to learn how to perform the most basic operations like get, post, update, and delete. That kind of operations we do with the database. So in the next couple of lectures, we're going to be doing that. So let's go to the next one and start with with posting data.